Oh yeah, we're all good. It was working. When I have it on mute and I plug it in to my controller, I've gotta like unmute it and unplug it and then like plug it back in because I had it on mute. That it was all going okay. It has been a long time now. Well, it's only been a week. I got it finished on last Friday. Well, not yesterday, but the Friday before. It looks very nice. These have a lot more detail in them, whereas, you know, this was just a basic bungalow, if I'm completely honest with you. There was like, you know, there was the bungalow, like, because it was the first bungalow, I didn't want to go like too detailed, if that makes sense. So I went for a basic one just to see how it would, you know, potentially turn out, and it seems to have turned out okay. But I definitely feel that when we get going with these bungalows, I potentially feel that we're definitely gonna, you know, start improving on them, just like we did with the upstairs houses, if that makes sense. You know, the 2-story, 1-story houses, you know, the ones what have a ground floor and then a main floor, then a first floor, rather. And you know, I think once we, you know, take it from there, we should be pretty good with our bungalows. I do want to definitely do some more bungalows in the future, because they look, you know, they do look very, very nice. So yeah, guys, if you guys didn't know, I had a kind of week off from the channel, if you like. I didn't really post anything because I'd been away on a holiday, and I was planning to post more things than I did end up posting, but where I went, I told you guys that I was all sweet and sound and, you know, I had Wi-Fi and everything. Well, I actually didn't end up having Wi-Fi. For whatever reason, the person who owns the place must have changed the Wi-Fi or something, or there must have been something up with it. And I never really saw the person who owns the place, you know, to really ask him about, you know, to ask him what had gone down. Otherwise, I was going to put quite a few videos up for you guys to watch of the bikes going round. But, you know, it was, you know, I did it where I could. I did live stream it once as well. But, you know, it was awkward for me to everything. Like, I've not really watched any YouTube videos. I've watched one Emmerdale during the whole week. I've only really slightly with my mobile data been able to check Facebook, and that's pretty much, you know, as far as it's gone. I've not really been able to do anything else, you know, with it. So I've actually like missed out on quite a few different things. What, you know, probably gone down in Mars Bar's vlogs, if you guys don't know. I usually watch him like every day when he puts a vlog out, and I thought I'd have Wi-Fi to watch him, but I actually didn't. So unfortunately, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. We actually worked that out so perfect without even knowing. So how was the holiday, you're probably thinking, Ash? Well, you know, it had its ups and downs, but all in all, I had a pretty decent time. The bikes were absolutely incredible. Like, you guys do not understand. I have got a few videos that I will possibly upload now I'm back with Wi-Fi. But they were absolutely, like, there was one place where we watched called Big Arrow, and it's a part of the race course where they kind of like come down a little bit of a hill. Well, it's a bit of a hill slash a dip, and then they go around the corner and they go like really fast round there, like you don't understand. Like, they zoom round there, and it's like, it's actually scary to watch them. that's... Oh, Ride had an update. Oh, I want to see what happened there. It was actually scary to actually watch them, like when they first like came by, like just like that. Like I actually almost felt terrified on how quick they like literally like shot by. Never seen them shot by so quick in all my life, and you've really got to put your respect out there to them riders for doing something like that, because let's just say I know I wouldn't be going ahead and doing something like that. I don't class it as weird that people do that, but I definitely class it as something rare inside of them, what gives them the courage and the urge to want to race around such a deadly track. It's definitely not something anybody normal thinks about. Definitely not. It's weird, like you don't think when you're a kid I'm gonna race around public roads at nearly 200 miles per hour going through corners and bends, where if my tyre just does something as little as touch the curb, I could be absolutely cream crackered and 6 feet under. It's definitely something I enjoy watching. Have a lot of courage for the riders to do it, but it's something where I just say leave it to the professionals. It's not something that I really would ever consider doing, or at least not consider doing at the moment. But yeah, it's fun to watch. The island itself is an absolutely magnificent place. Everything about it, like the island itself is just like its own place. Well, it technically is, but what I'm saying is you do actually feel like you're somewhere different, if that makes sense. Like when you go to somewhere like say if you go on a holiday in the UK, like somewhere like Blackpool, or say you have a trip to London, you still know you're in the UK because you're still seeing like Asda's and Tesco's and stuff like that. You kind of get what I mean. Whereas like the Isle of Man as such has like so much of its own unique shops. Like the supermarkets are different, like ShopRite instead of like Tesco. There is a few like high street shops what are the same as like what we have over in the UK, but then you do get your sort of like out of the blue, like you do get like their own shops, if that makes sense, like TT t-shirts and their own like bookshops and stuff like that, stuff like on their island, what's unique to them, if that makes sense, and something that you don't definitely see over here, if that makes sense. Like they have their own things over there, and the radio station, they have a radio called Manx Radio, and the radio station is also so much like its own. It's not like a commercialised radio station. It's not like Capital FM, if that makes sense. It's like the island's own radio station. And when I say like by that, like when the adverts come on the radio station, you don't get adverts like you would on the radio stations over in the UK. So for example, you don't get the adverts about what's half price at Tesco, and you don't get adverts about like stuff you would about sort of like insurance companies and funeral directories. You don't get the normal adverts what are on like the big main radio stations. It has its own, like every advert is about something that you can do, or a restaurant where you can go and eat, about the racing or something like that. It's got like all the adverts are like advertising stuff to do on their island and stuff about their island. It's not like supermarket adverts. Well, they have their supermarket adverts, but you don't get like Tesco adverts and like Iceland adverts and stuff like that. You sort of get your own individual stuff, like 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 say for example an advert would be like, why not ride a Manx steam train while you're over on the island for this season? It will take you on a great ride. You know, them type of adverts, like everything about the radio station is just its own to the island, but you can listen to it, obviously, you know, not on the island. I could pick it up now, if that makes sense. But yeah, everything about it's just its own place. Like, you don't feel like, you don't even know where you are, I don't think. Like, you just get that so much lost in all of its great stuff and all of its great potential that you just don't think about really anything back at home, which is absolutely, incredible, really, if that makes sense. And, I've just had a pretty enjoyable time, to be fair. We did have a bit of bad weather at the beach towards the beginning of the holiday. Well, to be honest, because we went for practice week, you see, and practice week isn't as important as the race week, obviously. And if there is, quite a bit of bad weather, they're more likely to cancel a practice session than they are a race session, obviously. If the weather's absolutely terrible, and it comes to the crunch, then they'd obviously have to cancel a race session. But if the weather's bad but not too bad, and it's a race day, they would more than likely do more to hold the race day on than they would the practice session. And we had one bad day, well, when we were going, because when we go, there's a practice on the Saturday, but then there isn't on the Sunday, and then there is meant to be for the rest of the week. And when we went over, when we were going to Liverpool to catch the boat, to go ahead and, get to the island, the weather turned quite shocking. It was a rough boat sailing, which didn't really bother me, but it was raining, it was pouring down, and we potentially said there won't be a practice on tonight, and there isn't usually one on the Saturday anyway, because they're sometimes a little bit low for marshals. And when when the boat got closer to the island, it was just a different story. It was dried up, sun was out. It was just like a completely different place. So we had a practice session. It went ahead, and then Sunday, it was a nice day, but then on the night time, it started to rain. And basically this really, really low fog came down over the mountains. Because you see, the thing is a lot of the things what can cancel the racing is to do with the mountains. If it's hard to see up on the mountains for the fog and the helicopter can't land, then they don't go ahead with the racing, you see. But there wasn't one on Sunday anyway, but this really low fog came down. And it was really hard to see. Usually when we look out of our apartment window, we can look at the docks where the boat comes in. We can see the boat come in and come out, and it just got to the point where you couldn't even see that. That's literally how bad it got. Literally all you could see was across the road, and then then you'd see a blue railing, and then there'd just be fog, where usually it would be sand for the beach. But literally, you could only see as far as across the road, and then you were pretty much, just in a load of mist. And it sort of, it got a bit better by the next day, for a bit, but then it got worse again. It sort of cleared up a little bit, and then it sort of got worse again. And it just got to the point where you really couldn't see anything. So unfortunately, it wasn't on the Monday, so we didn't watch it then. Then it's been on all week since. The weather's been better. It's had a few early finishes where, as it's got a bit later at night, towards 8 o'clock, it's got a bit dark and a bit of fog's come in. But apart from that, we've pretty much, gone for the rest of it all week and watched at different places. We've had a look in the grandstand, talked to some of the riders. Good stuff that way. We did some really good scenery viewing. There was one day where I was planning to vlog it all. I was planning to film it all for you with time lapses, and I got going with it, but it just didn't work out that well. Time, like I didn't have enough storage on my phone. I wasn't doing it with my camera because I have an instant time lapse thing on my phone, and then I was going to install this app where I usually edit movies, like videos on with my iPad, but I just didn't get good enough, Wi-Fi anywhere to really install it and do it. And then, like, I wanted to record some of the bikes going round, and it was taking up storage. So in the end, I just had to scrap some of it, which was a bit unfortunate because I'm not telling you any porcupines or fibs. It genuinely, was a really, really nice scenery place. You really could see some nice, like views. They say on a really good day, if you go down there to that part where we went, you can actually see Ireland. We couldn't see it that day when we went because it had kind of come sunnier again, but it hadn't, exactly come clear enough yet. It was still sort of, it wasn't exactly that grand. I reckon today, if you'd have gone down there, you would have seen it. But in terms of, like that day when we went, which I think could have possibly been the Tuesday or the Wednesday. Was it the Wednesday? Yeah, I think, yeah, it was the Wednesday when we went. Which is just in Douglas, in the town where we stayed, and it's literally like a little road which takes you up a hill, and then you come to like a big grass bank on like top of a cliff, and below the cliff is literally the docks where the boats come in and out, and you have this like big stand with telescopes, and basically like there's a map and it points on like different like on this map like different measurements of your telescope on where you can see like different views. You can see like views of the racetrack, or you can like or you can even just like look out to sea and see if you can see a boat coming in. And it's really nice. We've gone up there like other years as well, and it's nice, like, but each time like we've said you could have taken a picnic, but then we've like always forgotten to take a picnic, or we've always like decided to go at the last minute and we've already eaten. But there's some nice benches up there as well. It's like a really nice little, it's not a scary area. Like, you don't like hang off a great big edge. It's not like mountain climbing. It's all like a proper safe area. But it's really nice just to catch a little bit of view. And it's really good to just see like, well, you can see quite a lot of the island actually. And it just works really nice. The takeaway at the corner, there's a takeaway at the corner of our house, at the corner of our road rather. It's like a kebab shop. It's absolutely phenomenal. There's something about it, like everything just tastes so nice from there. Like, I don't know what they do or what they use, but everything just tastes so nice, like chips, sausages, doner meat, stuff. A lot of stuff I've had from there has tasted absolutely spot on. Really nice. One of the best takeaways I've ever been to in my entire life, which is absolutely, it's really saying something, because I'm very picky when it comes to food. Like, there's a lot of food and things that I personally don't like, but I do know when there's something what I really enjoy, and something from there is something what I obviously really enjoy, which is good. So yeah, guys, I'm back anyway. Despite of a good time, I'm kind of pleased to be back. Pleased to be doing a little bit of a stream for you guys. Gonna end the stream soonish though, because I'm gonna check some stuff out on my iPad. I want to see what some of these updates have done on some other games as well. and you know, I've got to do some stuff. I'm possibly going out tonight to have a few drinks at the pub and just meet a few mates and tell them about my holiday. Depending if anyone's at the pub or not. There is Leeds Festival on tonight. I don't know if you guys know. It's also Creamfields. I think there's another festival on as well. So I don't know if a few of my mates have gone to that or not. I'm going to see who's out in town. And you know, have a few beers out. And then we're going to get back to it, really. Oh yeah, and also on the speaking of clubbing year, which I need to tell you guys about, you know the place where we went for the last clubbing event, where we went for the last clubbing event, that Sunday school, the last one, what I actually filmed. Well, basically they were sort of renovating the inside, so you could go inside when it was wet, so you didn't just have to use the courtyard, if that makes sense. Well, I thought it was just, I thought personally it already had an inside, and I thought that it just, was having a little bit of a lick of paint, and maybe they didn't use it as much because they were more popular outside. But it turns out that the whole place is having a whole makeover with a new name. So instead of being called Bongo Bongo, it's going to be called the Old School House or something like that. And anyway, when it gets done and gets reopened, they're hosting a massive launch party, and BBC Radio 1 Extra is basically going to be there at the event party. Now, I don't think it's till sometime like October or something like that, or it could even be September. I can't completely remember when it was, but it is like sometime soon. And basically, I personally would like to go to it. Personally, I would like to go to it, I've always got on with the owner. It's the same owner who owns the Jack Rabbit's nightclub, and I alternatively wouldn't mind going to it. So that could be a future clubbing year event. Just to bear that in mind for you. There's also another retro event soon, which I don't know if I'm going to be going to it. It is sort of something that I wouldn't mind going to, but it's one of them what's a little bit far away, if that makes sense. But it's basically a history of house type thing in Blackburn again, which we missed the last one, by the way, which was all the way in April. Back in April, we missed it. There was like a ton of artists going, and basically Blackburn do like a bit like a festival in a forest, and basically this year they've added a retro tent. They've added like a section for retro, basically. So Retro's going to be hosting an event there with K-Class and a couple of others. Now, personally, I wouldn't mind going to it. It's something that I wouldn't mind doing. The ticket's something like £27, which, I think the event goes on for quite a long time. And, basically, I wouldn't mind doing it if I could, but I don't know if I will. But yeah. I think it'll be, quite good to go to it, but I don't know if it's something that I will go to. It's not something that's a definite, but we're just going to have to see what goes down, really. See if it is something we can bag up, but you know, it's not really looking positive at the moment. Yeah, I'll read it to you. So we are back raving in the forest on Saturday the 16th of September 2017 with a special second stage hosted by our very own History of House Music and our good friends Retro, Old School and House. So the DJs are Paul Taylor, Alistair Whitehead, Stu Allen, K-Class, Mark Ecstasy, Daz 808 DJ set, and SI Father plus more. Welcome to our house, Restricted Forest, Witten Park, Blackburn. And basically, yeah, it looks, you know, pretty mental. But I think it might be a bit close to... it might be a bit like it's only going to be sort of maybe 2-3 weeks away, so it might be something that isn't necessarily possible to do in such a short space of time. But if I could bag it in, I will obviously bag it in for you guys, and you know, I'll try and let you guys know that way. So let's go to my good friend who owns the Jack Rabbits, and I'll tell you about the event at that one, and we'll get that one popping. So let's go. Alright, so we'll just need to scroll down a bit. I think not too far, I don't think. Oh yeah, here we are. Is it? Oh no, that's not it. Ah yeah, here we are. Alright, so let's read this. Let's read this to you guys. It takes me to an actual newspaper website, by the way. So this is the club where we've been to, which is getting a makeover. Bearing in mind, there's also another club what's getting a makeover as well. What we've been to. Well, that's actually 3 clubs where we've been to. What are having or have had makeovers this year. Let's just try and get this to load. Alright, so this whole nightclub is revamping, and we'll play 2 secs. Alright, let me start that again for you guys. This whole nightclub is revamping and will host a huge event for its opening night, the Old School House. So former Bongo Bongos Club on Moulton Street, East Hull, to reopen as the Old School House. So a popular East Hull nightclub undergoing major redevelopment will host a world re-owned event when it opens next month. So Bongo Bongo in Witham is currently undergoing a big transformation with it set to reopen as the Old School House next month, and its owners have said they have secured BBC One Extra to play its opening night after being first approached by the station to host their public set last May. Now, with the Old School House officially opening on Friday, September the 29th, the venue has confirmed will be playing host to the BBC Radio 1 Extra crew for the special event. Owner of the Old School House, Mike Thompson, said he was excited for revelers to see the new look club. We're currently redeveloping. We're going from Bongo Bongo to the Old School House, and something, everything, he said. We used to have leopard print walls, but we're going for a school theme. Clubbers can dance in the science lab or stay in the detention, which is the VIP area. Yeah, so basically they've actually turned, this is sick, they're actually turning this into a school. And there'll be like different sets of music and like different sets of like school areas. So it's actually like gonna be like a school. Like when it says the old school house, you guys maybe at first, or at least I did, thought it meant that it was gonna play old school house music, but because the place actually used to be a school, in the in the old days, so I think it was like a Victorian school or something. They're going for a school look. And that's pretty much all it says about it. So we can bag that one up on the event, which is good. So yeah, that's it, you see. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, seeing what goes down in Chinatown. Apart from that, we've just got to keep looking, really. We'll have to see, like, you know. Just have to see what goes down. That's all I can say. Oh, that's a nice house. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I I can't really see what else, So yeah. Alright, I think we're all good on that front. So yeah, I'm going to leave this stream here, guys. That's what's going to happen with Clubbing Year. It is going to return real soon. Well, that last event at Bongo Bongos was only the 16th of last month. So it is just over a month ago, but it seems longer. It seems like we've taken such a big break from it, but it's only possibly been about 5 weeks. So, alright, guys. Catch you in the next one.